playing that. No, no, no. I'll just go through. Over to them.
Samson with Ulster table 2.
Whatever's left of it. Not a lot. Why don't you take it?
Two screens, so you just have that video there, so you can do your own.
How do you mean? Yeah. I need play. They will be.
And now the screen actually looks right, it's not too strange.
That's the difference there, isn't it? Hey!
Any suggestions? It's a fact. This works, the other one doesn't. I don't know what else you suggest.
Alan Griffiths, Jack Whelan, table 4. After that, Chris Dyson, table 5.
Even with Aaron's phone, I won't use it. I can have a look at the scores by the time I have a look. It's gone off the screen.
Is that on your phone?
I'll have a look. Because it should literally be.
It wouldn't let me start.
Let's do that.
No Redmond, Sackett Simmons, table 6. Ben Davis, Ian Martin, table 7.
And I just think rather than like sort of scrolling down, because it's difficult. Well, you'd almost got your cursor. That's what I'm saying. So you've got your cursor, and you're almost going, oh, I want to find out what's happening. So I think so. Yeah. I think that would be better. I think and then you can almost move them all the score is there. I just want to move the cursor. I want to see move the cursor. I think that's better. When you scroll down writing, you'd almost like trying to find it. Correct. You're trying to find it.
Lee Killen, Jealousy, table 8. Lee Washbrook, Matt Riley, table 9. Partha Singh, Chris Hatton, table 12.
Well, there's going to be there's tablets on virtually every score, but they're not big yet. We've got to I'll ask him. If he hasn't, I'll go and get it. Yeah, of course he does, yeah. Well, we're trying to get him into it. They didn't even know we got one.
Yeah,
Like, they don't really want to do it, which is fair enough.
I'm not too level, so.
No, I got you setting.
So it's a good morning and a very warm welcome to Beard Productions. We're coming live from the Savannah Club in Whitefield near Manchester. And first up this morning in the STRN Open round 1 is the little matter of Mr. Mick Hill against Luke Wigglesworth. Mick, obviously a very familiar face, the current EBPF world champion. And Mick wins the lag and gets underway. With a good, solid break. And what a day we have ahead. Some interesting results last night, and we'll run through them in just a while. Mick's initial options seem to be looking at yellows, but changed his mind, feels it reds are the stronger colour, and straight away he's in attacking mode. And he's got a nice angle here, just to move this yellow out of the way, try and leave himself on the red down the rail. He's not quite got into that as he wanted. He's going to have another go at moving that yellow out of the way. Shouldn't present too much of a problem. There's a couple of balls that he can use to get on it. Apologies if my voice sounds a bit gruff this morning. Suffering with a bit of a tickly throat. So here we go again. Action coming up today, as you can clearly see. First up is Mick Hill against Luke Wigglesworth in the round of 64. Second game up at 11 AM this morning is going to be Clint Ianson versus Lee Clough. That promises to be a cracking game. I mean, Clint came through his match last night against Gav Robinson. I think he won that one 10-7. And Lee Clough, having had a bit of a break from the game, is back into a rich vein of form. I've heard that he's really playing well recently, so should be a good matchup. And then we go across to the losers side at 1 o'clock, and we watch Hassan Ali against Seb Webb. So Seb's going to be live on stream at 1 PM. And then our fourth game at 2:30 this afternoon is going to be Ben Rowland against Cal Stevenson. That's going to be at 2:30. And then we'll be streaming again at 4 o'clock. So we obviously don't know which games are going to be on at 4 o'clock. As soon as we know, we'll let you know. And Mick's still going about this clearance. Played a nice developing shot to move the yellow aside earlier. Get himself on this red. And, well, Mick just making the game look fairly easy at the moment. He just turned up about 3 minutes to 9. No need for any warm-up frames. Just took his cue out of his bag and pulled out a break and dish. So super stuff there from Mick Hill, and he goes off into a 1-0 lead. So if you aren't already aware, if you're just joining us for the first time, This is the STRN Open. We're playing it at the Savannah Club. These are races to 10 in the winner's side, and it's black ball rules. Winner of the tournament will be crowned tomorrow, and I think the winner takes away £2,500. And also the final is quite an exciting event for us, because it's going to be streamed through the Unilad Sports platform on Facebook, so very exciting. So in our first look at Luke Wrigglesworth. Luke came through a prelim match yesterday against one of the event organisers in Zach Leonard. Fairly convincing win. I think he won 10 frames to 5. A quick look at some of the results from last night. We had 3 prelim matches. The other 2 being Wayne Dutton against Kelvin Wharton. Wayne won that one 10-8, and Jason Hill beat Rob Chilton to put Rob in the loser's side. And some of the other results, JJ Fall. JJ, maybe a familiar name to some of you guys. He actually owns this club, the Savannah. He came through against Paul Tickle, 10 frames to 1. JJ said he played really well. Only missed 1 ball in the whole match. Some, I guess you can say, a few surprise results in there as well. But no surprise, Jack Whelan went through against Ben Rowland, 10 frames to 8. Arfin Dad, wow, one of the most consistent players around, isn't he, Arfin? He won his match 10 frames to 2 against Brian Robinson. Cy Fitzsimmons is through on the winner's side. He beat Anthony Illingsworth 10 frames to 5. We saw Ben Davis against Ryan Davis on stream. What a great game that was. Ryan played really well, but Ben took the spoils, and he won that one 10 frames to 7. Ian Martin was in action early. He went through 10 frames to 5 against Steve Connolly. Janice Singh went through on the winner's side, as did Lee Washbrook. And Matt Braley, who was on commentary with me last night, also beat Yasser Hussain 10 frames to 4. Partab Singh through to the winner's side after a win against Adam Short. Chris Hatton, Gaz Royds, Gareth Higgins all through. Clint Ianson and Lee Clough, they're in action at 11 o'clock. Both through on the winner's side. Of course, we saw on stream Craig Marsh against Gareth Hibbett. Craig winning that one 10 frames to 7. Steve Wall, and he beat Chris Coatsworth. Steve, another local player to Savannah. Jordan Shepherd, we saw him play Cian Moynihan last night in our late stream, and he also went through. And there was a couple of losers' side games as well. Sean Swimby played Zach Leonard and went through 7-2, so Zach is the first player to exit the tournament. And also Adam Jackson beat Kelvin Wharton 7 frames to 2, so Kelvin also out last night. few games in action around the room. Some early starts for some people. I see Ben Davis is playing just behind us. Also, Jack Whelan in action this morning. Looks like he's actually losing 3-0 at the moment. I see him over at the far side of the room, currently at the table. If you want to keep up to date with any of the live scores, then you can via qscore.com. So if you go to qscore.com, you can. There's a bar along the top which says live, and you can follow the links to the STRN Open and keep in touch with the action from all the tables, which is all being updated live as we go today, all throughout the day. So there we go. That was a quick recap on all of the action from the last couple of days. And meanwhile, Mick just going about his business, clearing up from Luke's mistake, and he's now leading 2-0. Always interesting to hear your score predictions. If you've got a view, then please let us know. There's also the ladies in action today. They're running a STRN Open ladies event. So we'll also keep an eye on that, see who's playing in it, see who's in action. I know they've recently done the draw, so it'd be interesting to hear who's in the mix and who's playing who.
Leeds 2-0, next to break.
Notice that Greg Batten lost last night in a match that I guess he would have expected to win. I mean, he's on a rich vein of form coming off of the back of his PAC win and his new nickname, the Pac-Man. So Greg's on the losers' side today, with some work to do. Actually, it's not a disaster, I don't think, in this tournament going across into the losers' side. Sometimes it can be a long, hard road to get back in, but if you go out in the first round, I think you then have to win 4 matches to get yourself back into the round of 16. And the last 16 all get paid. See Rob Chilton in the club early this morning. Also, as previously mentioned, Arthur Dad. Nothing but good things to say about Arthur, really. I mean, every time I see him play, he's one of the toughest opponents in any field. Incredibly consistent player. And just back to this game, an unusual error from Mick in off the break, and Luke needs to establish himself in this frame. Using his first shot to push one of the yellows down onto the rail. So Luke will be going for reds. And that, unfortunately for him, is going to be an open table. The first shot was a free shot, so yeah, Mick just asking if it's still an open table. Indeed it is. He potted one off the break and fouled, and Luke's first shot potting the red was a free shot, so the fact he's missed the next ball means it's open table. I think Mick here will probably just, well, he's got one of two options, isn't he? He can either move the red on the side cushion, or he can move the black into open play, because I don't think the black goes anywhere either. He might try and do both at the same time. I'm not sure the black goes anywhere, to be honest. I think the only place it would go is to left centre. Oh, we can see from that angle it actually probably does go left centre, so I think he's fine. I mean, I guess his only challenge is finding the right ball to get on it. So I'd imagine he'd just work his way down through the balls now. Left centre, right centre, bottom left corner, and he used the last ball to come around the back of the balls and leave the black in the left centre. Oh wow, that was a pop out. That was centre bag, and that's just pop straight back out. Mick looking a bit bemused. I played about 10 frames on these tables yesterday, and noticed a couple of times that the ball does just bobble a little in the middle. So Luke comes to the table. He'll be glad of this chance. I mean, it's not absolutely textbook straightforward. It's a nice shot. Just developing the yellow. I think he's on the yellow to the left of the black. Yeah, you can see from that angle he's certainly on that yellow. And the other yellow then is open to either centre. I think he can play this with just a little stun shot and leave the other yellow in the centre bag. That one thought about it. He's cued that one nicely. Sadly, he's just left it a little straight, so any kind of angle, and this would have been a far simpler shot. He's going to have a tough black. Not much else he could have done with that. missed that one by some margin. So Mick deciding that he didn't fancy the route there to try and hold on the bottom red, and then get up for the because the red at the top of the table clearly doesn't pass the black into the top right, so that presented a bit of a challenge. So Mick deciding to play it safe, gave Luca a bit of a chance to give it a hit, see if he could get lucky. It sounded like he miscued actually. It went straight, but that was not going to reach. Mick looking a bit nonplussed. And Luke taking the opportunity and gladly accepts that frame, and he now trails 2 frames to 1. So some other scorelines from around the room. Sanjay Patel is currently leading Michael Rhodes 5 frames to 3. Some would say a very surprising scoreline at the moment in the Jack Whelan game. Adam Griffiths is leading Jack Whelan 6 frames to 0. So see again Jack at the table. So he's going to have to find his rhythm fairly soon if he wants to get back into that game. Lee Killen, Jella Singh is still 0-0. Matt Brearley's in action playing Lee Washbrook this morning. Lee played last night in a fairly long match and came through on the winner's side. And as I say, he's currently playing Matt Brearley. And they're tied up 2 apiece. Partab Singh's also in action playing Chris Hatton, and they're locked up at 1-1. Arfin Dad's in action this morning against Chris Dyson. Arfin's currently leading 3 frames to 2. So there's some interesting scorelines in these early morning matches. Jack obviously not of the races yet. And with his two stablemates, if he doesn't pick up soon, then he could be on the losers' side with along with Seb and Craig. Obviously, will play out of the corn exchange down at Derby. I know Jack's just been over to China recently. I think he's turning his hand a little to Chinese 8. Which also, obviously, Mick's been quite heavily involved recently in Chinese 8. So a very nice break and dish there from Mick, and he extends his lead to 3 frames to 1. Sorry, that wasn't a break and dish. It was a dry break reverse dish. And that's twice now that Mick's gone in off on the break. So Luke just, I mean, the obvious use of the free shot here is just to break up in this cluster. I think, given the choice of the 2 sets, I think, well, either one. I think we'll just look at how this little cluster breaks up. I think Luke's going to be playing yellows. It's okay. It's not A1 position, but there's enough room to screw back out into open play. Yeah, Luke just not quite finding his rhythm yet, is he? It was one you'd expect him to get, especially with all the balls at his mercy. I think he was just trying to pinch a tiny bit of the pocket just to make sure he screwed past the red. Didn't really want to nudge the red over to the black. But he's done that anyway. Sadly for him, he's not tied it up. It's available into left corner. Fifteen tables available for action today. I think probably about 8 of them currently in use. That's a rare error from Mick. So Luke with another chance that he may not have expected here. And I think the order of the day would be to bump the black out into play. Maybe even play the plant, black down onto red. Yeah, he played that pretty well. Wasn't an absolute formality to get easy on the next ball. One just lost his way slightly. Just in no man's land. And, well, posed with a couple of difficult options, I think. I was going to say probably the back double would be the shot to take. But he's missed it. Not left Mika too much here, has he? Hampered queuing for a pretty horrible double. This one down the rail. Oh, he's played that well, hasn't he? Played the double, knowing there's an element of safety that he could cover the bag. And that a clearance that, well, when he came to the table, you just couldn't quite work out how he was going to clear 3 very difficult balls. But, that's the way you do it. Double one, get the other one out, and make it look pretty simple. And that's 4-1 to McHill. the unmistakable figure of Craig Marsh. Well, Luke trying the safer option of the second ball break there, but losing the right into the corner. Things just not going quite his way at the moment. I see Craig chalking up at the back of the room. Not sure if he's in action or whether he's just having a warm-up. I think he's in action. So we'll keep an eye on that. If you're recently joining us, a very good morning. Trust you all slept well. You're joining us this morning for the STRN Open from Savannah in Whitefield, Manchester. 69 players entered the tournament. We've lost 2 so far. 67 remain. This is a first round match between Mick Hill and Luke Wigglesworth. You can catch up with all the scores on qscore.com. It's £2,500 to the winner. The winner will be crowned tomorrow evening, and the final will be streamed on Unilad Sports Facebook page, which is quite exciting with their near 1 million subscribers. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of viewing figures we get tomorrow evening. I don't know what plans Mick's got for this this yellow over to the left-hand side. On the face of it, it doesn't appear that it passes into left corner. He's left a nice angle. If it does go, he's left a nice angle to drop on it. If it doesn't, then he'll be looking to get it out. But there's a lot of traffic around. Yeah, so it clearly must go. For all the world, when you look at that angle, it just doesn't quite look like it passes the red, does it? I think there may be only half a pocket to aim at. And where Mick's landed makes it pretty awkward. This is one you need to be right behind. Oh, he's played that well, and you've got to say, a little touch of fortune to cannon the red and leave himself on this black in the middle. Might be doing him a disservice there. Maybe he played to come across the table twice and cannon the red, but it could have easily gone wrong. So Mick Hill taking advantage of another error there by Luke. He leads 5 frames to 1.
Leads 5 versus 1, makes a break.
So Mick broke off and he's not happy about something on the break. Maybe just didn't feel that he's timing it quite right. But, looked pretty good from here. He's just run out of position slightly there. I think he's hidden from the potting angle by the yellow. Not sure. I think he can just turn it over if he needs to. He has the other option of the longer red into the top corner. Clinical stuff from Nick. Another break and dish. That's his second of the match. He leads 6 frames to 1.
Leads 6 frames to 1. Makes the break.
So another virtual stroll around the room to look at the other scores. Sanjay Patel currently leading Michael Rhodes 8 frames to 3. Sanjay been playing well these last couple of days. Saw him in practice yesterday. Adam Griffiths is now 9-3 up and on the hill against Jack Whelan. So Jack looking a very big favourite now to move over into the loser's side. Arf and Dad leading Chris Dyson 5 frames to 3. Del Redmond in action on the table, directly behind the stream table. He's playing Cy Fitzsimmons. Unmistakable broad shoulders of Cy Fitzsimmons currently in the chair as Dell's at the table, and Simon leads that one 4 frames to 3. Looks like Dell's gonna very quickly square that game up though. Ian Martin in action on the very next table to that, playing Ben Davis. So there's a bit of a clash there. Ian, one of the locals from the Savannah Club, very good snooker player, and very adept on the pool table too. Notice he's gloved up today, wearing a bright blue glove on his left hand. Seen him play with the glove before. But yeah, he's playing Ben Davis. We don't have a score update on that one at the moment. That one's still showing 0-0, but they've been in action a while, so we'll see if we can get an update on that game. Matt Brearley has stretched ahead now. That was 2-2 last time we looked. Matt now 5 frames to 2 in the lead against Lee Washbrook over at the far side of the room. And the other game in action is Partab Singh against Chris Hatton. Partab currently 3 frames to 1 in the lead. Yeah, while I was running through the scores there, Mick rattled off another frame, taking advantage of Luke's dry break. Mick, slightly fortunate there not to get kicked in off. The white tried to find its way towards the centre bag. Reds look pretty good here. Another obvious option, given that little cluster in the middle. Big shout out to all of our sponsors. You can see them dotted around the hoardings around this main table. To Taram Tips, and their new chalk that they've just brought onto the market. To qscore.com, where you can follow the scores to this game. Also to Unilad Sports and Kamui. And also to the Racker, which you've seen in action on this very table. And that's, for those eagle-eyed ones amongst you, may have noticed this aluminium framed rack that the referee is using, which is a new concept. Makes lots of white there. Just what needed a thicker contact on the red on the cushion, but glanced off it, and he's lost the red, given Luke a good chance. Yeah, it's a fairly simple concept. It's aluminium frame with a spring-loaded action towards the back, so you can push the balls up into the rack and then release the pressure, slide the rack forward, take it off of the balls. And from what we've seen this weekend, it's been performing really well. Good consistent breaks throughout all of the matches on this TV table. And an update on that score over on the table just behind Ian Martin against Ben Davis. Ian's currently leading Ben 5 frames to 3. So Luke's only real challenge here is finding a way to get this black out. Yeah, he was trying really hard to drop that red in and miss the kiss on the other yellow because he was trying to leave an angle on that yellow to move the black out. But in doing so, he took his eye off the pot. But, he's left it pretty safe. Matt Brealey now 6 frames to 2 up against Lee Washbrook. Cy Fitzsimmons has got another one in the bag against Dale Redmond. It was a bit of a surprise actually because when I looked across, Dale was at the table and it looked like everything was in open play. Expected him to make that clearance. Often Dad's extended his lead over Chris Dyson. There's now 6 frames to 3. So Mick just putting the red down on top of the yellow, trying to make things difficult here for Luke. So Luke needs to play a delicate little shot here, just needs to play it kind of into the cushion and yellow at the same time. Kind of a fairly dead weight pace to leave the yellow where the other one is. Move the red away. Or you can play it hard. My preference there would have just been to play that one dead weight and leave the yellow inside the red for a little more control. Another unwanted kiss from Luke has left him pretty much in no man's land. I don't really see an attacking option here unless he can play the top yellow off the face of the other yellow as he's looking at now and squeeze it across into the middle bag, but I just don't think the angle's there to do it. I think it's going to go too square and come high. Having another look at it. Yeah, wow, goodness me. All 3 with 1. As expected, I thought that one was going to go a bit high, but well, the other one went and he doubled. Sadly for him, the white also found a pocket. So that's a bit of a gift from Mick with this free shot. Just opening up his one difficult red, leaving everything in open play. If you're recently joining us, we are Beard Productions. We're covering the STRN Open. Beard Productions, we have Paul Moulding, who's doing all of your production. We've got George Tutorian on camera, photographer and all-round IT expert. My name's Nick Finn. I'm going going to be your commentator through the day. I know I'll be joined in the commentary box later by some different people. There you go, you see that. A replay of that shot from Luke. You've got to kind of feel for Luke a bit here. He's just not been at the races. There's one thing for sure, you're going to have to play your A game to be able to beat Mick Hill, but Luke really just not had the run of the ball. Things have really not gone his way today. And he finds himself 8 frames to 1 behind. And I think if a bookie was offering match odds, the book would have been closed by now. And it's just clinical stuff here from Mick Hill, nicknamed the Machine, and for very good reasons. He's really playing up to his name, isn't he? Of course, I'm sure you're all very aware of Mick Hill, the 4 times world champion, 2004, 2010, 2015, and the reigning world champion, the WEPF. The first person to ever win it 4 times. Some would argue the greatest player to ever pick up a English 8-ball cue. He's originally from Dudley, but he now owns a club in Morley, just not too far from here, over towards Leeds. been active for, well, probably a good 20 years now. Of course, beat Tom Cousins in the final in 2017. Oh, beg your pardon, Tom Cousins in the semi-final, should I say. Beat Phil Harrison in the final. That was a good semi-final, if I remember. But beat Phil Harrison fairly convincingly, 11 frames to 6. It's not often someone does that to Phil Harrison. Another one of the most consistent players around. Seems to be able to switch easily from black ball to world rules. Of course, in 2016, Mick famously went over to China and played in the Chinese World Championships. He'd only had 1 week of practice, never really played Chinese before at all. He borrowed a cue off somebody and then made it all the way to the final. So it's Mick Hill on the hill, leading 9 frames to 1. And if you can find a ball here, he's just going to play a little containing shot. Just to open that red off the side rail. That's slightly unfortunate. Luke just needed to brush that yellow, and almost certainly would have potted it. Mick choosing to push that ball safe, all his balls in the open, so deciding against trying to promote anything, and instead just moves Luke's ball to the side rail. There's some discussion about the virtues of the break cue. I think it's just a question of personal choice. Some players prefer to use a break cue. We saw Jordan Shepherd last night using a break cue. I think some players feel they get better control, and it kind of dumbs down the action that you get off the white ball. And also, some people prefer to protect their Q-tip. Anyway, Mick Hill, not one who uses a break cue, certainly didn't need one in that match. And he wins 10 frames to 1, a convincing win from Mick. He progresses through to the round of 32. Luke moves over into the loser's side. And we will see you back in action at 11 AM when we will be bringing you Clint Jansen versus Lee Clough, which promises to be a great game. So we'll see you very soon.
They all think pool's an easy game. It's far from easy.
It's a bit like playing chess but with balls.
No one remembers second place to them.
The atmosphere is amazing. Everybody gets on, everybody's friendly. Everyone's sort of in it for each other.
It's all based around a pub game.
Get to meet people from all over the country.
It's a great venue.
The table layout as well is just amazing.
First night they had like a disco, I've never seen that.
Everyone's got a chance to win something.
The format is brilliant with the gold, silver and bronze.
The game off board is growing, eh?
The standard of women's pool is just getting better and better.
It doesn't matter whether you play badly or play well, you just want to keep playing.
I love it.
Really good fun.
Really good weekend away. To go out and Blackpool afterwards.
Everybody wants a piece of the Golden 8 Ball.
It's definitely the best one that we've ever been to.
Certainly the best one I've ever been to.
We'll be back next year.